Throughout this course, we'll be using some basic circuit diagrams, and I want to take a few minutes to show you what the symbols represent. First, let's start with a simple circuit that includes a resistor and an LED. A resistor is represented by a zigzag line with a wire at each end. Resistors restrict the flow of current through a circuit. Usually they'll be labeled with a note like R1 for resistor 1, or R2 for resistor 2, or a number indicating the resistance. In this case, we see resistor R1 at 220 ohms. An LED is represented by a triangle with a line. There's a little light beam coming off the symbol too. That triangle and line symbol is the symbol for a diode, which is an electrical component that only lets current pass one way. An LED is exactly the same, except it emits light when it lets current through and doesn't light up when current doesn't pass through. The side with a line here in the diagram is called the cathode, and it needs to be connected to the negative or the ground side of the power flow, or it won't light up or let any current through at all. The component itself has different length leads, and the shorter one corresponds to the cathode. You'll also notice on most LEDs, there's a flat side on the plastic package to indicate the cathode side. The longer lead is called the anode and needs to be connected to the positive side of the power circuit. Next, let's look at the symbols for different kinds of power. A DC, or direct current power source, is represented by a small and large line parallel to each other. This is meant to look like the alternating cells within a battery. It's labeled with indicators for polarity, that is, which side is negative and which side is positive. An AC, or alternating current power source, is represented by a circle with a wavy line inside, which represents the sine wave that an alternating current source provides. Then there's the switches. A throw switch is either in an on or off state, and it stays in that state after you change it. These are represented by a line that looks like a little gate. On the other hand, a push button is represented by a line separated from two endpoints, and it's only on, meaning that it lets current through momentarily while the button is being pressed. Finally, there are a couple more symbols you might see as you get into more advanced circuit diagrams. This one is a capacitor, which is a component that stores up electricity and releases it at a particular interval. Capacitance is measured in farads or, more commonly, microfarads. Some capacitors have polarity, which means, like diodes, they work in one direction. Others will work in both directions. Transistors are the foundation of modern computer processors because they act like little switches or amplifiers, allowing current to flow either one path or another based on the input. You'll see them represented like this, a line and 3 wires inside a circle. Exactly how a transistor works is beyond the scope of this course, but the kind of things you'll use them for include controlling output for DC motors and acting as a switch.